Good evening. Welcome to the Great Northwest. Coming live to you from Tacoma, Washington. Candidate for U.S. Senate, an independent representing the people of Washington State. You'll have to excuse me, it's Casual Friday. Welcome. Tonight's topic is going to be Social Security. And in my platform, my position is this. And Gregory, welcome. If you could also hit the my other homepage with the Marine Corps emblem on it, share that to that page. It'd be great. I got a letter from Social Security today. Now I've been fighting this Social Security thing, not my personally. Okay, I did take an early retirement. Probably the biggest mistake in my life. It cost me probably $400 a month as far as benefits go. And I used that so that I could buy this home. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is, one, I worked during my life, and I set aside each week, each paycheck, my portion to my Social Security retirement, and my employer sent matching funds. The same percentage that I paid, the employer matched it. No problem with that. It looked like a nice supplement to any retirement plan that you may have. Well, with trickle-down economics, forget that. It was only a matter of time before the retirement system revolted and all the money was evaporated out of those retirement funds. Union or even non-union shops that had retirement funds were scavenged and stolen from the employees who dedicated their life to that business or organization. And or if it was a union, even the unions, in their desperation, all coming together, found it hard to fight Congress because Congress had one thing. We're going to finance our budget using Social Security. To this date, they've taken about $16 trillion from Social Security to balance their budget for tax breaks and bonuses to the 1% or even 2% if you want to take that number. And so Social Security has been used to take care of that stuff. That's why the veterans don't have enough money. That's why Medicare doesn't have enough money. That's why the ACA, Obamacare, is not doing as well. But I got the letter today from Social Security telling me, because I'm reaching the age 65, that I'm eligible for Medicare, and their words verbatim, if I could read it to you. We're writing to you about your Social Security benefits, what we will pay and when. You will receive just shy of $700 in the month of September, which will be here mid-September. Direct deposit, convenient. And then around October 18th, 2017. After that, you will receive the same amount of money that I mentioned earlier on or about the third Wednesday of each month. They're telling me that my monthly premium for Medicare Part B medical insurance is $134. Now, for a retiree such as myself, and now a campaign, that $134 is gasoline money that I could use traveling across the state all month. Because I have one of those hybrid cars, excellent mileage. I can sometimes get 48 miles to the gallon in city, and when I go out on the highway, if I moderate my speed, I can probably get 40 plus. But at 80 miles an hour, I get 35 to 38 miles per gallon, depending on the terrain. Anyway, it tells me how they break it down and everything. Well, my Social Security check that I get every month is under $900. And because I took early retirement. So I'm okay with that. I knew this, what would happen by doing early retirement, but it allowed me to purchase this home. When we moved in, my wife had been able to, with us saving up and managing our money properly, we were able to, she furnished the entire home. 3 bedrooms, this office that I'm in, the master bedroom, and living room and dining room, and plus all the kitchen utensils. Yes, we had some wonderful wedding gifts as well, and we took full advantage of that. New home gifts too. She's very diligent, very spendthrift as far as her what she bought, looking for deals. So we're definitely living within our means, okay, and we're able to do some things every now and then too. We plan them, but I'm not solely dependent on the Social Security. But having to go from paying for my medical, okay, I received medical care from the Veterans Administration, zero cost, okay, zero cost. It doesn't cost me a thing for my care at the VA. Now, because I've turned 65 and I'm eligible for Medicare Part A and B, where I was paying no insurance, I'm suddenly paying $134 a month. Now, I know that my situation echoes across America for all those people who are baby boomers like myself. I know that that echoes across the nation. And if their Social Security benefit is higher, then they're going to also do what? They're going to be paying more for their premiums for Medicare Part A and B. But I went from paying zero, okay? I went from paying zero to $134. I have yearly checkups from the VA, okay? Anything pops up, they run their series of tests. They're very diligent in my care. I have good communications with my doctor and any of the other staff members that I also visit in the course of yearly checkups. I try to be as healthy as I can. One, eating healthy, making sure I drink plenty of water. We talked about water protectors last night, having clean, fresh water. But the thing for me, I turned 65 and suddenly I went from zero cost on insurance to $134 a month on insurance. Now, I'm starting to believe those horror stories of my older brothers and sisters that they get to choose between cat food to eat or get their medications. I believe that now. I believe that. They either eat or they don't medicate. Congress has given the Social Security Fund, they have ripped it off. They're ripping off the United States Post Office. Can you see the importance of me getting into the Senate? Someone who is going to be that firebrand that you need, someone who's not going to back down or compromise. We have done the compromise line long enough. I mean, we kowtowed as people to what they said, and how some of these yo-yos get reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected. It's based on lies, and the people eat it up. And it's based on gerrymandering. So I'm asking you right now, those of you who are watching, share this with everyone you've got. Those especially in the older generation. So if it's affecting us now, what do you have to look for, young people? What do you have forward to look? Nothing. Nothing. We talk about single payer and all this stuff, and that's all it is talk. However, I got a plan, and you've got the answer in your wallet. It's called your Social Security card. You're already tied into the federal and state systems all around the world. No matter where you go, your passport, everything is tied to your Social Security card. That is your ticket to going to the doctor. Yes, you may have a monthly insurance fee, but 350 Americans dumping into the medical arena as far as healthy and not, and need some help or whatever, 350 million Americans making a basic payment, different for family, different for single plans, and the plan is that it doesn't mean that there's A, B, or C to it. It means that you're paying $25 or $50 a month for your health care insurance and a small copay, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to receive the care you need, or if it's outside your, what do they call it, your network. Your Social Security card puts you in the national network. It puts you in the United States Healthcare Association. Your Social Security card was given to you as an identifier so that you could pay taxes. Well, guess what? It's also your identifier to get you universal health care, no matter what. Dental, eye, body, cancer, okay? All of it. All of it. No special needs, no specialty doctor. Yes, your general physician will probably send you to a specialist to be evaluated to see what is there, if it's malignant or benign. But senior citizens, I today got slapped in the face by my government. Now, millions of you have already had your jaw jacked by the government in regards to this Social Security fiasco. There hasn't been a cost of living. We got a cost of living in, last year. It went, mine actually increased $3 a month. That's $36 a year for a cost of living on things that were costing more. Fuel, food, prescriptions, everything. Now, mind you, I didn't have to pay the prescriptions. There was a lot of things that I didn't have to pay. But the index that they use, cost index, to figure out what the cost of living increase is going to be, what percentage, is based on fossil fuels. It's based on fossil fuels. That's a crazy thing, isn't it? Of course it is. All I'm saying right now is Congress, since Reagan, has stolen from the Social Security Administration, from the money that was there that we put in. Okay? Now, when mom and dad, regrettably pass on, or aunt or uncle or whatever pass on, and when I pass on, if I'm a single man, guess what? That Social Security payment stops. If I'm a married man, then if my wife waits long enough or is healthy enough, when she turns retirement age, she'll be able to draw a portion of my Social Security benefit that I had, and it'll be what they call a survivor benefit, which is about maybe 60%. So if any of you are familiar with the Social Security or have ever had to deal with them, whether it was for a disability claim or to file for disability because something happened to you and there's no other recourse, it's your only chance. It's your only chance to survive. We shouldn't have to worry about only chances. We shouldn't have to. Millions of men and women have fought and died for this country, not to have it turned into feudal states like back in the kings and queens days. And I think that's what they think they are in Washington, D.C. They think they're princes and kings and queens. I know our president seems to strut around that way. I'm not, if he was for the people, why isn't he listening to the people? Why isn't he always bringing all these millionaire scumbags and billionaire scumbags into the cabinet? Why is he doing it? Why is he doing it as far as, who he's putting in charge of our money, or fair rights and things of this nature, ethics? Oh my God. So you need to think about it, folks. Share this video. Share this video everywhere. I'm running up against Maria Cantwell. She's a 2-term incumbent, and she hasn't done squat for us. I think maybe she named a couple of post office boxes for us, post office for us. Big deal. The post office could have picked a much better name, I'm sure. But she wrote a bill for that. Instead of working on single-payer health care, what did she do? She dedicated a post office. Now, I don't really mean to bring my candidate into it, but that's who I'm fighting, okay? I'm fighting her, and that's why I need you. If you cannot donate, when you come on these broadcasts, share it. Share it and encourage the people that you share it to for them to share it. Now you can catch it right here at this station on Facebook, and it's also being migrated to our .com, and there we'll have a little bit more control over the content, longevity, and the accessibility of it. Now I believe you can download this video if you choose, and share it that way. That way you have a copy of it. God forbid you not hear the latest news, right? I mean, but no, I'm really ticked off. I mean, I'm 65. When I was forced into retirement, I thought, okay, I've got stable income from these sources. I have to make it work because I can't put in overtime. I can't go out there and find myself a better job or a better career. I can't do that. See the reasons that people are forced to do and live? And I have to admit, I am better off than a lot of Americans. But that doesn't remove the fact that, okay, it's not because they come after me. I've been fighting for the people who had been already taken for already. I mean, when you don't get a cost of living for 3 years, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Okay, I got questions. My campaign manager said, hey, slow down, answer some of these questions. I want to make sure that I spell this. Is that Chai Sexton? You ask, what state? I'm in Washington State. I live in the great city of Tacoma. I am an independent running for the U.S. Senate in the state of Washington. Okay, Nick, thank you. Appreciate the well wishes. Carrie, the party, and I'm glad to say it again, independent. I will not be part of a party that I have to listen to. And when the DNC had that thing come out, where they were found, where it was dismissed, and they blatantly told the judge that we're a club. We don't need to follow our rules as a corporation. Millions of people put their trust in the DNC to make sure that they follow the rules during the primaries. They did not. They did not. They stole the vote from the people. The people that believed in the Democratic Party and leadership had their votes shit-canned and all marked for Clinton. We see where we're at now. I'm an independent. I can't, the sacrilegious heretic party, like we call the Republican Party, I can't be part of that either. But I can be for you out there. I can stand up for you. I won't back down. I've mentioned before, I'm a United States Marine. Okay, yeah, I'm not as good a shape as my brothers and sisters are right now, but I have the drive, the motivation, and the headset not to give up. My mission is set. Go to the U.S. Senate. With your help, I'll be there. Share these videos that I have. Share them, and pick out the one you like best. If you have a senior citizen in your family, let them know. If they're in the state of Washington, they can vote for me. But if you're not in the state of Washington, look for a progressive. Look for an independent who is talking about the people, not themselves or some other party, but things that they're taking away from us every time that Congress meets. But yes, I am proud to be an independent because my voice is your voice and your voice only. Chi, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Single payer, full employment. Yes, absolutely. You have a Social Security card, Chi. That's your ticket to universal health care. Full employment. If we had a jobs bill and repaired our infrastructure, our unemployment would be that of the people who, one, decided not to work, or they decided that they were going to be able to be that single parent, that mother who takes care of the children while the husband goes to work, or the husband takes care of the children. With family medical you know, family leave, taking care of the family, putting, the Republican Party talks about it a lot about the party, but they don't do squat for them. And you're welcome, Carrie. What are some of the points? The $134 a month is for both Part A and Part B, Pam. That's what they are deducting from my Social Security benefits to pay for the Medicare Part A and Part B. I'll still have to pay for my prescriptions as well. More information is coming down the pike, and as I get it, I'll share it with you. And yes, they ask me occasionally as I get closer to 65 if I have Medicare. And I did have Medicare when I was disabled, when I laid on the floor, paralyzed for an hour. Anybody tells you that paralysis is, you can't feel nothing, well, they're wrong. They're wrong. I mean, it's an episode that I was able to get readily fixed. The Veterans Administration fixed it for me. And so I'm tapped out. I mean, they said, you can't work. Well, here I'm not here. I'm volunteering for America right now. I'm volunteering for the state of Washington so that I can go to Washington, D.C. and fight the good fight for all of America. Part A is free for the first 120 days. Well, they're taking the money out, so I guess they're going to hit me for another $139. I don't know. This is what they're telling me now, and my benefit has been cut from $113 to $679, and that's what it'll be from then on. That'll take care of the Medicare expenses that I'm supposed to pay. But I went from paying zero to the amount that I was talking about, Pam. Checking in from Dallas. Welcome. I hope you guys are doing well down there. It's a real mess, and wish you guys the best, okay? And I hope I explained that a little bit better, Pam. I turn 65 and I get hit with this. I'm not even 65 yet, and they're telling me how much I'm going to get in September. And my birthday is not until October. So, and Florida. I have family in Florida. Where are you from, Marjorie, in Florida? This is my Marco Rubio tribute, drinking champagne of Mother Nature, bottled water. I'm not always so serious. I can be laughable at sometimes. I enjoy a good joke. I enjoy fun and being with friends. And but at the time, there are times, and we know that as adults, that we have to be serious, and sometimes we have to be firm in our decisions and in our dialect. And I'm looking forward to that. Sarasota. I had an aunt that lived down there in Sarasota. She wanted to be there, so she retired there. And she since passed on, but she loved Sarasota. And I have family just up the way from there in the Tampa, Florida area. And I was just there in May for 2 weeks. Very enjoyable time. I actually was able to hit the pool in May. Up here in Washington State, if it's not heated, you're not getting into it in May. You can't swim in the oceans. It comes right down from the Alaska screen, from the Arctic Circle, and it comes down. So it's cold. My son loves it, and I wish he'd move out here. But we'd like for you folks to share this. As I mentioned earlier, I'm running against a 2-term incumbent, and I can't say that she's really done anything for Social Security. I can't say that she's really done anything that's impressed me. So, having said that, I need you to share these live chats. Now, this weekend, this will be the last live one that we have. We'll have some pre-recorded ones spread out during the course of the weekend. But we encourage you, I do especially, that you're able to spend time with friends and family, especially family, so that you can enjoy this weekend. The folks down in Texas, Louisiana, and the other Gulf states are probably like, damn, it's Labor Day weekend. one of the last major holidays of the summer, and this happens to them. So may your thoughts be with them this holiday weekend, and be glad where you're living if you're not in that storm belt right now. But a lot of us aren't going to be able to celebrate it. Our men and women deployed overseas in 186 bases. Do we really need them as a republic? No, that's an empire talking. No wonder everybody in the world is wary of us, and they don't want to tick off the government here. I mean, but yeah. But I'm going to Washington, D.C., as your U.S. Senator from the state of Washington, to take care of these people. Okay, let me see if I can get that in there right. Social Security Administration. I'm not blaming the Social Security Administration. Okay, the way they're set up, they service the country well for what they do. And it is Congress who decides where Social Security money is going to go. That's because they keep taking money out of the Social Security bank. No war, no more. I have a poem. It's also a song that I wrote. A mother cries, her child has died. A father weeps, his son's no more. No wars, no more. I just can't take it no more. That's one of the verses to it. More funding for the Social Security? Yeah, quit stealing from the Social Security as well. We had a good example of what's happening from a news feed from Houston the other day. The Marine Amphibious units were showing up on station to assist the first responders already there. Now, these amphibious units that the Marine Corps has are the finest in the world, and they train to go anywhere. They don't think about it; they just go. Okay. Yes, they're safe. Okay, I can't think of a better bunch of people to be with in any circumstance. But there is some danger out there, but they're going out there to keep people out of danger. So I have kudos to the Marine Corps and their amphibious units. But this is part of the conversation that supports what I just said, and that is repurposing, redirecting our military into doing more humanitarian aids, that type of thing. Building highways, our infrastructure sucks, okay? Repairing bridges, airports, many things. Rescue, tsunamis, worldwide. So yeah, repurposing our military. I mean, we have the largest military airlift, but if we were to refocus that, redirect it during a time of crisis like what we're having in Yemen right now, thank you to Saudis, greedy bastards, we would have a much better, we could load up our cargo aircraft, and we could literally drop on site food and water to these people. As long as the warlords and some butt wipe with something and decided that they're going to destroy it, blow it up so that people starve, stopping them from getting the medicines and other things. But we could take it. We could deliver it. We don't even have to land. We can drop it off in an LZ, just roll and go. We don't even have to stop. But it's securing those supplies and those first aid items for the people that it's intended for from the warlords that are there, or the sheiks, or things like that. And if we wanted to, we could do it to Palestine. We could start airdropping in there to Palestine. The things that Netanyahu is doing to the surrounding areas, starving, bombing, people who have no ways to defend themselves. I'm not against Israel. Let me make that perfectly clear. But I'm against the militaristic actions that they're taking against defenseless people. I am against their militaristic action against these, for innocent, unarmed people, firing rockets in. Their kids don't have no place to go to school. I'm against that kind of stuff. And I'm against our military being ordered to go in and do that stuff. And drones with bombs are okay, but you need boots on the ground in order to make sure that the target is a target and not going to suffer from collateral damages, such as innocents dying. If you have a target, make sure that that target can be hit without collateral damage. In today's warfare, with the digital, with all the advances that we have in targeting, there is no reason that innocents should die. There is no reason that we should be go into another country as it is anyway. Bin Laden's dead, and many of his people are too. That's what the war on terror was all about, going there and getting it, not a continued war. Afghanistan is lasting just as long as Vietnam. We've got men and women going back there in repeat tours. Yeah, I can see where, I'm glad we have someone like Mad Dog in there, looking care of the troops. But we have a Congress and we have a White House right now. And I have to sadly state 44 wasn't any better. Okay? He did a lot of good things. His decorum was a whole lot better. At least when he spoke, you understood it. Unless he doublespeaked. Okay? I didn't agree with everything 44 said, but I haven't found anything to agree with 45. I gave him 100 days out of respect. And he crapped his pants every single day. Oh, even now. I mean, think about it. What we're going through right now is the quickest redistribution of wealth in this country, and it's going to accelerate. It's going to accelerate. I'm going to get back to some of the questions. Marjorie, you're absolutely right. They are stealing our retirement. And I am in this great state of Washington. I live in Tacoma, Washington. I am an independent. And Anna making a statement here. Congress should pass no laws for their own compensation in health care that do not apply to all Americans. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We sent them. They're our representatives. They are supposed to be doing our will, not lining their pockets and making special rules for them. Those career politicians are gone. Okay? Those career politicians are gone. I don't care how long it takes me, and I don't care if I am not going to stop. I am not going to stop. I'm going to show them what loyalty is. I'm going to show them what respect is. I'm going to show them what integrity is. And if I have to raise my voice and be firm with them, then I will. Don't mess with the Marine Corps, Sergeant. Don't mess with them. Don't mess with a Marine NCO, period. Don't mess with the Marine private. Don't mess with our pay. Don't mess with our liberty. Don't mess with our family or our country. Okay? But they did. And they have. And they are going to continue. And that's why it's going to take people like myself going into the Senate and into the Congress. We have a unique chance this year coming up in 2018 to change the direction. It may take us a couple of voting cycles in Congress, but if we do this in Congress, we can change. We can change this. We can change the Senate. We can change the Senate. A block of progressives and independents, they're not going to get anything passed that lines their pockets. And we're going to call them out. And and this is a word to that Congress and that Senate right now. And all those people that surround them, don't start thumping that Bible. I know it better than you do. Don't start thumping it, because if you do, I'm going to call you what you are. What they called you in the old days. Heretics. Because that's what you are. Joel Osteen down in Houston, Lakewood, Texas. He's no better. In Lakewood. He's no better. But nobody asked me to open my doors. If you have all these people sending you millions of dollars all year, Don't you think that out of compassion that you could open those doors because everybody will donate to clean up the church? But no, no, you little greedy bastard. So anyway, well, thank you for that compliment, Nancy. I appreciate that. Can we help Americans first? Yes, yes. And you can start off by supporting your local small business person. Support union work, major projects, get those unions in there. Yeah, it might cost a little bit better, but guess what? Your cost overruns won't be as great. We get the crooks out of our infrastructure. We build for America. We build America, okay? And yes, you're right, Marjorie. Israel is part of our war machine. Yeah. And, I'm tired of taking crumbs off a rich man's table, okay? There's not that many crumbs for all of us. There's not. And when the hourly wage is not raised in 30 years, how many of you started out in the 80s working for maybe $9, $10 an hour and thought that was okay? And then in the 90s, still making $9, $10 an hour, maybe 10.50. And you get to 2000s, maybe you're making $10, maybe you're making 9 some places to start out, and then you're getting to 10, and then maybe you get to 10.50. And if you're lucky and don't get let go because of lack of work, maybe you might made them $11. And then we have, yeah, I like that, G. I like that. Scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites. Well, they don't read what they preach. Okay, I don't think they read anything. They just pass this bill, pass this bill, pass this bill. And here's your check for $10 million. Don't read it. Just pass it. Just pass it. Just pass it. Yes, and you make less now because back in the 80s, I worked part time and made good money, full benefits, retirement. I got to fly free on the airlines, guaranteed 4 hours of work every night, and sometimes you'd be done in 2.5. Guaranteed 4 hours though. You got paid for 4 hours, and you got paid for anything that over. And if you worked 40 hours that week and went over 40 hours, you were paid time and a half. Watch that dwindle. I watched it dwindle. I admire people who are able to stick it out at jobs, and make a career out of it. I really admire them, that they were able to latch on to a company that treated employees good. Now, let's see what we have here. We have 66% of the people as progressives and indies. I kind of believe that. I've talked to Democrats here recently that voted Republican because what the DNC did in the 2016 primaries. And yes, American made. I believe that, and see, they take away something from us. They think that we're second-rate workers, but we're not. Because I remember that, yeah, I got that 5 o'clock shadow. It's Friday, it's casual Friday, and it's the weekend, and everyone's going to have some fun and relax and have a great time. It's just things in America used to be worth something, like the Swiss watch, German knives, German steel, the cheese and wines from France, the art from England, the Sheffield steel and all this. We look for, and the automobiles. Let's not forget the automobiles too. I mean, when that made in another country, I mean, it was stamped there, and Americans would people who could afford it then, and a lot of them could. They were buying the Benzes. They were buying different cars, high-priced cars, because of the workmanship that was in it. But we used to have the same level of that too. Think made in America. People wanted a Chevy. They wanted a Chevy, okay? Or somebody wanted a Mustang or Corvette or Dodge Charger. I want me a General Lee. Yeah, the Roadrunners. The Roadrunner's a pretty fast car. Anyway, things made in America. If it was food that was processed in America, it was top notch. Yeah, imports were cool. Okay. It was nice to show that you had a little bit of class, or if you had visited that time because you had the funds to be able to vacation to Europe. Yeah, it was good. But made in America. Unions made it strong. Union strong. Uh, Boats, everything, craftsmanship, everything. If it was made in America, people abroad wanted to buy it. Do you know how many when I travel out of country, especially when I went to Thailand, somebody was wanting something made in America. Well, you know what? I looked at it. Everything was made in Thailand. Oh, this is India. Vietnam, China, Japan. It's very hard to find something made in America worth taking to another country. So what I did was I took 3 bottles of liquor, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, and another favorite of mine. But that's about all we got. Liquor that, and they didn't ask for that. They asked for like a piece of clothing, but there was nothing made in America. Made. So, I mean, yes, we need to bring that work ethic back. The reason it could all be made over there, the t-shirts and everything, the shirts and pants and everything else that I saw, it was made in another country that somebody was wanting me to buy for them, where they could buy it for a cheaper price there, the same product. The only difference was all the large sizes came to the United States. And so that's why I took the liquor, because it was brewed and refined in America. Right? We got to get that back. We got to restore the middle class and the opportunity to move forward. NAFTA. Oh my God. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Homeless everywhere here and getting worse. Where are you at, Marjorie? I can't remember. I apologize for that. Now it's 1099s. Yes, 1099s. They don't have to pay taxes. You do. They don't pay Social Security, but you do have to. That's right. Thank you. That's where my Aunt Jody lived. Thank you, Marjorie. But yes, homeless are everywhere. It's an epidemic here. Not too far from where I live, there's a homeless camp, and we're starting to experience grass fires. I don't know why, but we're starting to experience grass fires. And the police, they don't like going down in those areas because they know they're going to find something that they don't want to see. But they don't go unless there's an incident. And then they go down there in SWAT gear. Can't blame them in that regard. Now, yes, those of you who are listening here in Washington, and I encourage people throughout the country who are listening, here in the state of Washington, we have an initiative that we wholeheartedly support. It's Initiative 490. I can't remember it right now. I apologize. It's Initiative 940. It's talking about a de-escalation of police and the way they handle and approaching suspects or talking to people. And we're hoping that with the de-escalation, that possibly there won't be so many murders committed by police officers. And from the footage that I've seen, I don't know what happened before, but I'm telling you, you've got your club, you've got your mace handle, you've got your tear gas, you've got your taser, and your weapon of last choice is your pistol, your sidearm. I'm very proficient with the sidearm. Those guys go out and shoot all the time. I get to shoot every 4 years. My grouping is like this. My grouping is like this. It's with a pistol. It's with a 45 or a 40 cal, whichever one's my that I'm able to get from the gun shop. If I can every 4 years have a pattern like that at 50 feet, if I can have a pattern like that at 50 feet, why in the hell so many people dying in the hands of these officers? They deserve. If you think you're going to get your butt kicked, if you need to pull your gun, shoot his leg out. A couple of well-placed rounds in the legs. I mean, if you're at that close a range where these guns are being discharged, if you can't shoot for his leg and you're shooting or his head, that, sir, to me, is aggravated murder or murder. You have alternatives, and you fail to even move into that arena. You have to get up in their face so that you use intimidation to get them to hopefully move because you're swinging at them or you're intimidating and you say that they were preparing to strike me. You're lying pieces of shit. I remember growing up, police officers, they rarely pulled their pistols. I kind of grew up in like a Andy and Mayberry thing where the cops knew everybody. There was no need for de-escalation. These were Korean and World War II veterans. They weren't afraid, but they were respected. Now people fear. That is as close to being police state. If that's what our government wants, they have actually succeeded. And that is not right. We deserve better, especially those of us who went and signed up and put our life on the line for each and every one of you out there. Some of us are still living, some of us aren't. Some of us are in another land right now with no business to be there except our government tells them to go there. We did not sign up for that bullshit, period. Excuse my language sometimes, but folks, tonight, Paul Ryan and crew really ticked me off, okay? And, like I said earlier, I thought it was just talk. Granny, decided whether or not she's going to have cat food that month to eat or she was going to have her prescriptions. Now I know why. Because when Granny was working, her Social Security earnings were a lot less. They were a lot less. And so consequently, her Social Security check might be $1,000, $1,000 a month. She's also, she has to go to the food bank or she has to go to receive food stamps and an EBT, card. She can't afford where to live, and so she's hoping on the grace of friends pooling together and having a house, 4 or 5 of them, so that they can make ends meet, to at least be able to have a cup of coffee in the morning, be able to have something to eat that evening if they want, be able to keep up on the news or watch a movie or something, be able to socialize with friends and family and get to church on time if they want. That's all being taken care of, Homes who live in whenever they passed on, not going into a rest home or assisted facility or that type of thing. I mean, that's no place to be. I pulled my mom out of one of those places. I pulled my mom out of one. It was a horror story. My brother and sister-in-law took care of mom. They took care of her from that time on until the day she passed on. Our senior citizens shouldn't live like that. And if we have to live like that, young people, what do you think it's going to be like for you? The WHO talking about my generation. Hope I die before I get talking about my. Well, longevity seems to go on in my family. My cousins and aunts and uncles, centurions plus. Healthy, active life. So, what do we do for our seniors? Care of them better. And I see, I'm like looking at the stuff, and I think of NAFTA and I think of the TPP that was coming down, and then I think of Keystone Pipeline, the damage and the attacks to the water protectors, the mercenaries that were used to invade the first people, destroying of sacred cows, their ancestors. What would we do if somebody laid a pipeline down through Arlington Cemetery? That's what the hell we do. And yet we tolerate governors along that Keystone Pipeline and other pipelines throughout this nation. I think some of you in the southern states and the Gulf states are experiencing some of the same things about what they call eminent domain. That oil is coming down from Canada. No. It's dirty. It's filthy, and we even get some of that stuff here in. We just don't need the tar sands. There's a glutton, I heard, of oil. So why do we need more oil? The refineries in the Gulf states can't process it. We don't need all that oil. We have the technology now to make electric cars go 200 plus miles. We have the technology and the know-how and the innovative spirit that is so dominant within our spirit. We could make an electric car go without ever being plugged in at all. We have that ability. We have it. We have the technology, we have the knowledge, and if we have the will, we can make it happen. We can have electric cars coming out of Detroit, coming from other places in the world. If it's not all electric or a super hybrid, it does not enter our shores. Now, what are we going to do with all these internal combustion engines, diesel, etc.? What are we going to do with them? Well, if I'm not mistaken, there's some pretty darn good metal in those engines. Pretty darn good. We recycle it. We clean it up. We take the oil and the sludge and everything else, and we refine it. We can, anything that man makes, we can uncreate it. Anything that we engineer, we can de-engineer it. If we can reverse engineer an aircraft so that we know how it works, why can't we re-engineer all of the pollution? Right? 1940. 1940. What happened in 1940, Dave Strider? Fill me in there, Greg. Now we're selling tanks and rocket launchers against citizens. We are a police state already. Yes. That's why, one, we have to do what we can to make sure that in 2018 we start turning the tide. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not asking you to pick up a gun. I'm not asking you to march on Washington. I'm going to do the marching. I'm going to do the mark time on their heads. Let me. That's what I signed up for as a Marine, to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It is an oath that I took when I came into service of this country, and it is an oath that I never rescinded or was never asked to surrender. So you got me, folks. You got me. And I need your vote. If you're in the state of Washington, I need your vote. And if you're outside the state, I need you to start considering, to start deep look into those progressives out there, those independents who are fighting the same fight. I suspect that their platform is pretty identical to mine. Is the independent a party? No, we are independent. We are free of the bonds of a political party. We do not behold ourselves to no political party. We do not listen to a political party. We listen to you and you only. I'm only speaking from truth. I will not. And if I do wrong, I expect you to call me on the carpet and hold me accountable for my actions and make me explain why I didn't do what the people had voted on that I do. Oh, I won't give you no excuse. The rest of them wouldn't. No, because I will do everything I can to filibuster something. I will make sure that these amendments and some of these things that need to be done, some of the enforcement of our laws. I am so glad the Supreme Court of the United States said that corporations are people. Well, I'm told that there are layers for me to get to those people. Well, that board of directors has a name. Each and every one of those people sitting on that board has a name. And if they answer somebody else, if it's a major investor who has sole proprietorship of that company and is shading his money through a corporation and having this board of directors do his will as far as lobbying Washington, guess what? His name goes on that warrant too, along with those boards of directors. We're all seizures, and they will have their property seized, their assets seized. And if they, after having that done, if they can't find a court-appointed, if they can't afford an attorney, the government will gladly provide them a first-year law student. Okay? I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them taking away. I'm tired of them starting wars for profit. How many of you know how many GIs were lost in Iraq? Quite a few. How many of you know how much Halliburton, Dick Cheney, former vice president of this country, made off of each death of those veterans, those men and women serving there? Well, they had about 40 billion plus in profits from their work in Iraq and surrounding areas. $40 billion. But at the same time, we lost thousands of American men and women in that conflict. And each one of those men and women who died serving their country, being lied to. Saddam Hussein had chemical weapons, weapons of mass destruction, because we sold them to him to fight Iran. We've sold them to Iran too. President Reagan did. The Iran-Contra fiasco. So what are we going to do, folks? What are we going to do? Don't want to stay tuned. Don't want it through our land and our waters. No, I don't either. Police must get more training in handling people with disabilities. No kidding. No kidding. I got Marine Corps stickers on the back of my car. I have a disabled veteran plate on my vehicle. And I always, I respect, because I don't know if that cop is a psycho. I don't have a carry permit. I'm not going to shoot it up with a cop. They're there to serve and protect me and you, not to intimidate you and me. And when they step over that line and they begin their intimidation, they no longer protect and serve. They're serving someone else. And that has to stop. Some of them have that white hood, that white sheet outfit. Some of them are Klan members. Some of them are Aryan Nation. Some of them are Nazis. And they're in our police force. And when some young police officer goes out and his orders for the day is to shoot someone of color, doesn't matter, man or woman, and he does it, he'll get laid off for a while with pay, administrative leave with pay, investigation, and all depends on in uniform on the, for murder. If you were to do it, if I were to do it, wow. But the police need more training. That is part of the Initiative 940. And I can't emphasize that enough. That's something that it can be carried through. The body of it, go to initiatives in the state of Washington and look and read about it. It's also on our website, a link that will take you to that site where you can get in-depth reading on it and knowledge as to what is going on. We're not trying to take the police department apart. We're trying to give them more training so that they de-escalate situations that have resulted in catastrophic loss. That's all. More training. And hopefully we'll weed out some of those Klan members, those neo-Nazis and all those Aryan people. Hopefully we'll be able to weed them out and make them pay for what they've done. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. Part of my judicial platform, as far as reform goes, is it embraces what's in that initiative. And I was so glad to see that it was being put out there in the state of Washington. Now, we need to get as many signatures as we can by December 31st. So if you're in the state of Washington, please look at that, read up on it, and if you see signers out there, sign. If you can, go online and sign the petition online. But we need to start reining in the police, and that is one of the fastest ways in 2018 because the people of Washington will be voting for it. And if for some reason it gets turned down, then it make me wonder if the voting is actually rigged. I don't think you want to go home tonight and be getting comfortable and suddenly the SWAT team crashes through your door, shoots your dog, beats the crap out of you, maybe even shoots one of you. When you do some investigation, you say, oh, there's a wrong house. What if your house was the training ground for that night? I'm not trying to set any conspiracy theories, but think about the evil that's being gone and done to us. Think about it. I saw that where the arrested for not drawing blood. I believe the patient was unconscious, and that's the same report that I saw. But for the police officer, I mean, there are certain patients' rights, okay? I mean, many different ways that they could have gotten a sample from the person if they so needed it. If that person went through a traumatic experience, there's probably going to be, if they're unconscious, there's probably a urethra tube put in them so that they could urinate so they don't have to change beds all the time. You got your urine sample. You don't have to take a blood sample. You got a urine sample. That's a little bit better than that. But it gives you an idea, doesn't it, officer? That nurse needed to work. She was there at work to take care of patients, not to be accosted by your imperialistic, totalitarian actions. Yes, I saw that, Crystal. I saw that. And when you're seeing those comments on Facebook, you know, you can put the angry or you can put the one that cries. And that's both. If you can't, it'd be nice if you could put both of them at the same time. Oh, 1940. Oh, I get it now. Thank you, Greg. 1940. Well, see, I said it right this just a few minutes ago, but 1940. Yes, I saw 1940. I started thinking of the movie with Dan Aykroyd. I believe that was 1941. But I started thinking they cued 1940 for me. But yes, my day has been anything but normal, but that's what I signed up for. And I've got good people like Greg out there to make sure that I walk the line, that I don't misstep too much. But I have a fantastic team. Sometimes, in my lighthearted times, I'll call us the Three Musketeers. And but we have who is the campaign manager, and we have our IT staff, and we have a few people else that are poking in and out. But the ones who are carrying the weight are Greg and the IT people, and I'm so lucky that I found them. They help me in many ways to get out the message that you're hearing tonight. But there's a lot of times that we see so many things happening in this nation. It'd be nice if we actually had truthful answers, that we had solutions that benefited all from that. It'd be nice if we had a standard of living that we should have if Ronald Reagan had come in and done what he did. I mean, Ronald Reagan should have been, charged with treason, dealing with Iran, who had those hostages and sold arms to them. Sold arms to the people who were holding our people hostage at the embassy. That president and his entire administration, and his pre-election team and everything else should have been what I saw those returning people when I was living in New York come down the Avenue of the Americas in their buses. It was their first time back in the country after being held hostage. I saw them go by. They closed off 6th Ave and the buses with all of them came through. And it was really a moving sight to see them back in country. But, I would have much rather seen them held longer in negotiations, but not for arms, not for weapons, not for the loss of integrity to the office of the United States President, not to the United States and its integrity for not dealing with terrorists. But no, we sold them arms. Probably sold them the damn centrifuges that we've been saying that they had for a long time. We probably sold them that too. I'm just saying that the corruption in our government, I became aware of it that time. Oh yes, I was serving in the Marines under Tricky Dick. Okay, I am not a crook. I repeat, I am not a crook. And then we got Jerry Ford. Okay, and Jerry wasn't a bad guy. Okay, he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't who I would have voted for in any way, shape, or form. But he got moved into that position, and then we got President Carter, and things seemed to go okay. And then we had the fanaticism Islamist take over the American embassy. Now, I don't know who told them to stand down. I don't know who did. I don't know. I think that would be a hard order for me to take, to stand down. I really do. I think it would be a hard order. Marines are stationed at every embassy throughout the world. Marines, we don't like to say, I surrender. Because it's not going to happen. Okay? A Marine will not surrender of his own free will. We're not giving up that little segment that has been granted to us by that nation, that little piece of America. We're not going to surrender it. We will fight it. But at the same time, what are we doing in a country that has extremists in it and where we're trying to influence the government? Is that what happened in our fight for revolution? That we had people coming in from outside the country trying to manipulate the will of the people? I remember that a lot of the cries during that conflict, the first revolution, no taxation without representation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have today. We have taxation without representation. Okay? Think about that. Yes, I go a lot into history and stuff, but I say that because I've watched Jay Leno on the street and people didn't even know who the president was. I don't know. Maybe it was because it was L.A. I'm not getting down on L.A., but for crying out loud. I mean, walk the streets with Leno. I mean, or anybody, anywhere. And some of the people, I think they profile the people to ask those questions. And, you know, profiling is supposed to be against the law, but here they were, you know, and that goes across, that feeds across the whole entire world. But anyway, I'm going on 11/11/42. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to answer what questions are left. If you have any, let's go ahead and put them out there. I thank you so much for giving me this time tonight with you. The eve of our 3-day holiday. Thank you so much for being with me. If I missed anything, I'm going to try to scroll up. I can't do that. I can't. Oh yeah, I can. All right. Yes, I was able to answer some of the questions, but I want to emphasize Initiative 940. I want to emphasize that again. Look for it on our website, DaveStriderForUSSenate.com. We have put that on our site. Also, the page that we're on now, and also my Facebook page. You'll know you're there because I have the emblem of my 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, Magnificent Bastards, second to none. I mean, we are the Magnificent Bastards, the original ones. And my ancestors in the Marine Corps before that. I mean, not all of them were Striders, okay? Let's get that straight. Not all of them were Striders, but we are brothers. We are brothers throughout. And we are closer than flesh and blood. But yes, go out and have a great time this weekend. And be safe. If it rains, paper ballots. Yes, paper ballots are voting machines illegal. Voting machines illegal in Europe. Oh, yeah, Belushi. Okay. Paper ballots. We saw the fiasco in 2000 where paper ballots in the state of Florida, which was the determining factor for Bush versus Gore, and Gore did not win. Would we have been better? I think so, but we don't know. We can speculate the future because we know the past now, what happened, because in 2008, we had a major crash in our stock market. Would that happen with Gore? I don't know. But it did happen under Bush. And, you know, when Katrina hit and Bush flew over the place, and, you know, and why Obama let it happen, I don't know. I can't understand. I can't explain it. But I will tell you this. If I misspeak, if I misquote, if I do not tell you the truth, I want you to tell me, okay? I want you to tell me and correct me. And if I offer resistance, damn it, yell louder, okay? Get mad at me. Threaten me with the Board of Education. And yes, education for your college. zero charge. Those people are going into our economy. They're going to be workers, innovators, lawyers, nurses, doctors. And the last thing they need is a big college debt. No one prospers but people like Betsy DeVos. I believe she has that student fund thing that she finances and collects money from at 21.5% interest if she wants to. And sometimes penalty charges go on. It's hard to get a position or a job or career started if you have that debt hanging over you because it shows up on your credit score. So, everyone, have a great time. This weekend, send good thoughts and everything to the folks in Texas and the Gulf states. Watch your gas tanks. You need to consider gassing up as much as you can. I'm not trying to put a scare or anything or a run on the gas pumps, but in the last 3 days here in the state of Washington, fuel prices have gone up 13 cents per gallon. And I'm grateful that I have a hybrid, so I haven't been affected by that yet, but I will. And with the damage done in the Gulf state because of the hurricane, refineries are damaged. It'll take a while for it to get back up to running. And they'll be switching fuels. So I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, and I don't. I tell you what's out there, what's kicking chicken, I'll be honest and straightforward with you. Visit me again. We'll be back after the holidays. We'll have some videos that will be pre-recorded and released, probably on current events or some testing to see how our interfacing is going. So do have a good time. Do have a safe time. Love each other. And spread the word. Pass this video around because it's from your participation with me tonight and every night after this holiday coming up. We can make a difference nationwide. We can put a block in the Senate. We can put a block in the Congress. We can do that. But we can only do it with your help. Thank you so much. Oh, my nose itchy. Anyway, do have a great time. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And that's it. Thank you, folks.